So it is towards the last month of the season, and after I want to say it was like a 2-month ban, Hurt is returning back to the competitive scene. Even though he was banned, he was also in the running for number 1. While Akala and Doramigi are currently the frontrunners at this point because of their performances at Level Up Expo and Kagaribi, this doesn't mean Hurt has lost his chance to be number 1. It just means his path to get there for these last literally 3 weeks of the season, he's going to be entering events, is going to be very tight and very close, and he has a chance of claiming number 1 still. It's just not going to be easy. So let's go over his path, the events he's entering, and like what is the scenario that is likely for him to need to end up being number 1 in the world. So first off, the first event that's going to be happening, honestly the event which probably the least amount of weight to it, is going to be Sumabato 59. So Sumabato 59 is happening, I want to say 2 weeks from now, since I'm recording this, and it is a most likely will be A+ tier event, a major in Japan, featuring some notable top representation. Actually, I think Yoshidora just signed up. He was not here when I was checking, I think, the other day. So yeah, it's gonna have quite a few top names in attendance. It's gonna be not the easiest event to win, regardless. That being said, we also don't know how Hurt has been performing. He's coming off of a 2-month hiatus, and even though I'm assuming he's been practicing and assuming he's been playing in some form of way, because if I'm not mistaken, I think he was also banned off of Smashmate for those 2 months, that's going to impact someone's performance. And this tournament is kind of going to be like the testing ground in terms of how well he does. If he's going into this with still the same level of play that he was able to do before he was banned, to still be able to be on the top of his game like that way, that he's likely the favorite to win here. There's not really a lot of players here who, I think Ashimo's taken some sets from him. I think Raru has as well. I don't know if him and Yara have played. If they haven't, it may have not been a while. I don't know if Yoshidora's taken set off him off the top of my head as well, but there's definitely some very strong players here who can make Hurt sweat. But as I said, this is definitely the tournament with the least amount of weight to it in terms of like his performances at all 3 events across the board. I do think he has to ideally win at least 2 of them to have a shot at number 1. And we'll go into this a little more. I think this is probably the least important event to win, but winning it would be pretty nicely. And it's probably the event that's going to be the easiest for him to win because it's the event with the least amount of super top talent in attendance. It's just going to be down to how does Hurt de-rust at this event to be able to do well. If, say, in a scenario, this is the event he doesn't win, I think he kind of needs to still get like a top 3-4 finish here to still be doing pretty well, or else there's a good chance he might end up taking a loss to someone he probably shouldn't have. And at this point, it's going to be so tight of a race, it's going to be a bit tough. It's the next event that I think is going to really determine everything, and that's going to be Delta 11. Delta 11 is essentially the last Japanese super major of the season, and the second to last on the second to last week of the season, and has pretty much most of Japan's big hitters here, I would say. It is missing like 1 or 2 or whatever. Yeah, Delta looks stacked as fuck. It is stacked as fuck. It is a very big event. There's a lot of really notable names across Japan going. It's not going to be an easy tournament. Like this event, I think compared to any other event this season, of these last 3 events for him that he's entering, is such a big determiner for Hurt. If he doesn't outperform Akala at this event specifically, it's over. Like this is like the big one. Even if he wins both Sumabato and Gamel, if he still performs worse than Akala, I don't see a world, or it's not I don't see a world, I just think it's going to get very close and very tough for him to be able to claim it over him, especially if, like, say he gets second and Akala gets first. Well, that's another super major under Akala. That's Akala likely getting some sets in the head-to-head. So yeah, I think in the world that Hurt is number one, I think he has to outperform Akala here. I don't think there's a really other way otherwise, because the wins he's going to want the most to get where he needs is probably the players above him, which is Aqua and Doramigi, and Doramigi is not really attending events. There's still obviously some players here who are easy top 10 wins this season. Like if he somehow beats Mia in that abysmal dog shit matchup, if he beats Shuton, who is pretty solidified, I think top 10 at this point, there's definitely some wins he could take from here as well. Tama P is a pretty strong player this season. I don't think he's going to get top 10 at the end of it, but still pretty good overall. Aqua still has that 33rd. Yeah, but my biggest worry is Kaguribi is going to be weighted so much higher than any other event just due to it. Like that's the one thing about we just don't know what's going to happen with the algorithm is like we don't know how it's going to handle an event like Kaguribi because of it is. So a lot of the tournaments that are weighted off of the score, not the tier. And like, look at the jump between Kaguribi's score and Genesis. Sure, it's not linear in terms of its weight, but we don't know how the fuck it's going to handle something like this because this is such a insane jump of weight that Kaguribi is going to be such an important tournament that winning this event is just too important. And that's where it gets a little kind of tough. And then we have what was just listed today. The attendance aren't public, but I did get the attendance list for the post the other day. Hurt is going to Gommel. And this is also another tournament where I wouldn't say this is an easy one for Hurt because we don't know if he has an answer to Spargo still yet. And you still have players like Shuton who are dangerous. Syrup, who's brought him to the brink of Game 5 quite a few times. Kind of some unknowns like Sonics and Ouch who are definitely scary for Hurt to play. This is also the event that Hurt can afford the most leniency in performance because say if like he makes top 8, maybe he gets like 5th or 7th, there's a good chance the players he lost to are in that top 10, top 20 range. So like if this is the event he doesn't super perform at compared to the others, this is probably the event that doesn't hurt him the most. It's probably the most like nothing event, depending on, as long as he makes top 8, I think that's probably the big thing, obviously. Shiny Mark beat her at the Genesis pre-local. Yeah, so there you go. Like there's players here who are definitely scary for Hurt. I don't think this is as free as people would want it to be. Delta, I feel like everything comes down to Delta because the only player who's really in competition for him that's going to be in attendance is Akala, and if Akala wins, it's over. Like that's just, if he wins Delta, it's 100% over. Like if he wins both Sumabato and Gommel, it'll be close, but as I said, that Kaguribi is such an unknown in terms of how it's going to affect the rankings and how much it's going to weigh and how much it matters. And Akala having that win under his belt is such a big thing.